Hello, friends, on this beautiful, beautiful day in May. A Jesuit friend of mine, Father Max Oliva, has been doing work on business ethics in Canada and in the United States for many years. And he just recently sent out some reflections on empathy in the time of COVID-19. He helped me focus on what I would like to share with you in this Gardenside chat. And that is our practice of the virtue of empathy. According to Webster's dictionary, empathy is the ability to identify with or vicariously experience the feelings, the thoughts, or the attitudes of another. In the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, I think that's what Scout's father, Atticus Finch, encourages her to have when she's having a very hard time dealing with her teacher. Atticus encourages his daughter to walk a mile in her teacher's moccasins before judging her too harshly. He is inviting his young daughter to be empathetic. He is inviting Scout to practice the virtue of empathy. In the New Testament, we have a number of instances of this virtue of empathy. St. Paul, writing to the Christian community in Rome, says this: "Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep." In other words, practice empathy. And in Luke's gospel, when we were exploring a few of the miracles, we told and took a look at the story of the widow of Nain, whose son had died. And they were in a funeral procession, and Jesus came across them, and he saw the mother grieving, sorrowful, and the scripture says he was deeply moved, and he stopped the funeral procession, and he raised that dead son to life, new life, and gave him back to his mother. Jesus practiced the virtue of empathy. And in Hebrews we read, "We do not have a high priest," that is Jesus, "who is unable to sympathize with our weakness, but one who was tempted in every way that we are." So, how can we practice this virtue of empathy during this time of the coronavirus? Well, Father Oliva suggests praying for those who have died from it, praying for those who have lost loved ones and cannot even ritually say goodbye with a funeral mass or with the committal service at the graveside. Praying for those who have tested positive for the coronavirus and for their complete recovery. Another exercise of the virtue of empathy would be wearing a face mask in public to protect not only ourselves, but all of those around us. Is it inconvenient? Yes. Is it important? Yes. Is it an expression of empathy? Most definitely. Another way we can practice the virtue of empathy during this time of the coronavirus is maintaining social distancing when we are allowed to gather again in small numbers. It's artificial, but it is so important to ensure our safety and our continued good health. Being gentle and kind with both yourself and with the loved ones around you during this unusually stressful time. Those are all ways of practicing this virtue of empathy. Empathy is a virtue of the heart. Perhaps this following reflection by Father Max Oliva can help us keep our hearts open during this challenging time. He says, "My heart goes out to caregivers and first responders who risk their lives so that others can live. People of all ages suffering from this virus. Family members unable to visit their loved ones who are sick in the hospital. That's got to break their heart, especially when that loved one may be dying. Elderly people in nursing homes. People who live alone and struggle with loneliness. Men and women incarcerated and forced to live in close quarters. Religious worshipers unable to gather in person for their beloved services. Graduating students who have lost the joy of graduating in person with their classmates. Teachers separated from their students. And parents struggling desperately to multitask. Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Saint Mother Teresa, or Saint Teresa of Calcutta, understood empathy and practiced it daily. And this is a prayer that she prayed, which in essence is a prayer to grow in empathy. Lord, when I am hungry, send me someone who needs food. When I am thirsty, send me someone who needs a drink. When I am distressed, send me someone to console. When my cross is becoming heavy, send me someone with whom to share this cross. When I am discouraged, send me someone to encourage. When I need to be understood by others, send me someone who needs my understanding. When I need to be cared for, send me someone to care for. When I only think of myself, attract my attention to someone else." What a beautiful prayer. May it be our prayer that God help us grow in the knowledge of and the practice of this wonderful and necessary virtue of empathy. And so on this beautiful Wednesday in May, with puffy white clouds in the sky, the sun out, flowers in bloom, remember until next time to stay grateful, stay hopeful, and especially stay safe. God bless you all.